twin sister, Natalie. She actually OD'd on a pain pill they gave her. That pill killed my sister.
I detect a desire for justice.
Sig Thornton is responsible for the death of thousands with a drug he knew was devastatingly lethal. But how do I make sure that never happens to anyone again?
You're asking the wrong questions. The real breakthrough
It's time travel.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 science fiction thriller 57 Seconds. The film is directed by Rusty Kundieff and it stars Josh Hutcherson, Morgan Freeman, Greg Germann and Lovie Simone. The film focuses on John Richardson's character, Franklin Fox, who is something of a journalist, like an online journalist, an investigative journalist. And he is really looking to get an interview with Morgan Freeman's character, Anton Burrell, who creates like these wristbands that go on people that kind of make you healthier and fitter and improve your mental health, all this kind of stuff. He's always looking for new ways to use technology to improve people's lives. However, that puts him at direct odds with a character called Sig Thornton, who is the head of a huge pharmaceutical company. And he obviously doesn't want people to wear these bands and feel better about themselves. He wants people to feel poorly so he can sell them more drugs. So Josh Hutcherson kind of ends up in the middle of them. He wants to really get at this pharmaceutical company, the owner of this company, because they were directly responsible for the death of his sister. And to aid him in doing that, one night when he saves the life of Morgan Freeman's character, he discovers on the floor a ring. And when you touch the ring, it kind of reverses time 57 seconds, which essentially gives you the opportunity to kind of reverse a mistake or cheat, things like that, which is exactly what he does. He uses the ring initially to enhance his life, make the girl of his dreams fall in love with him, and then he tries to use the ring for reasons to try and get this pharmaceutical company to be seen as to what they are. Right, what are my thoughts on 57 Seconds? I've had this one on my watch list for weeks and weeks and weeks now, and it took me a long time to kind of get the enthusiasm for watching it, because it just didn't read that interesting. I mean, Morgan Freeman generally is enough to kind of get you interested in a film, like it used to be, whereas he does a lot of these kind of lower budgeted films now. He's never what you would describe as bad in them. So, not always, anyway. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily look like he's putting a lot of energy into them. But you could only really describe his character in this film as a glorified cameo, I suppose. He's in it a decent amount, but not much. And Josh Hutcherson, who has hit the big time, I suppose, this year with Five Nights at Freddy's, his career is probably going to have a bit of a spike, I suppose. He's absolutely fine here in this film. Obviously, the sci-fi elements here is the fact that there's time travel involved, but it doesn't overly complicate. Like, time travel films can be very, very complicated, and this one simplifies it in many ways. Okay, how it's explained how the ring works, which it doesn't really do a very good job of explaining how the ring works. Makes an attempt late into the film, I suppose. It's just 57 seconds. It reverses time 57 seconds, and that's it. So it kind of it opens up like a world of possibilities for him. Cheating in a casino, for example, getting information out of someone, let's say, kind of reversing one mistake, all that kind of stuff. And you see this ring used in different creative ways throughout the film, in ways that many people would probably want to use the ring. Beyond that, what you kind of get is a very generic and predictable film. Greg Germann, who plays the villain here, and if you don't know who that is, just look him up on IMDb. You'll immediately recognise him. I don't think he's ever played anything but a slimy villain in any of his movies. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's very pantomime here in this film, and it just, I don't know. It within the space of like 10 minutes, it feels, he has managed to meet one of the most powerful men in the world, and by that I mean Morgan Freeman's character, and try and get an interview, save his life, and then get an interview and find a ring that time travels 57 seconds. And then within 10 minutes, he's got a meeting with this Sig Thorensen, who's like the most powerful pharmaceutical company owner in the world. And essentially, he's done a few puff pieces on the internet about, health pieces and corruption in pharmaceutical companies and all this kind of stuff. He sees himself as some kind of journalistic vigilante, I suppose. But that's just not how the world works. You don't get to meet two of the most powerful people in the world within like 10 minutes of each other in this film. It's just too convenient for my liking. And beyond that, once he's made that connection with Morgan Freeman's character and this head of this pharmaceutical company, that's all it is really. He's trying to find information from this guy in the pharmaceutical company while trying to make out that he's working for them and all that kind of stuff. And he's all at the same time trying to use the ring to better his own life, etc., so on and so forth. Beyond that, like I said, there's very, very little to offer here in this film. It's definitely not what I would describe as a bad film. It's well made. The performances are of a good standard, even if I thought some of them were a bit over the top and pantomime. It's got an interesting idea, I suppose, because a lot of these movies, these time travel movies can get massively complicated. And this doesn't, like I say, overcomplicate things. It simplifies it quite a lot. There's some decent chemistry between Josh Hutcherson's character and Lovie Simone, who plays his love interest in the film. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more expansion on that and given them a little bit more time, sort of thing. It feels very rushed how they kind of get together. But there are aspects of this film that feel rushed, as I've mentioned before, the convenience of him meeting two of the world's most powerful men and then kind of playing them off for his own advantages, sort of thing. So I don't think 57 Seconds is a disappointment or a bad film. I just think it's kind of one note. It never really goes beyond that. But it's certainly a watchable film from my perspective. And it's not exactly what I expected. When I kind of read the synopsis for this and then I had it on my watch list, I was kind of like, I'm not even sure I'm going to bother with this one. It just seems very dull and dry. It definitely held my attention throughout. I did get engaged as an audience member with the story here and there. There were some fun moments in it, and it played around with a interesting time travel idea. Is this going to be essential viewing for anybody? Definitely not. But if you see this one on a streaming service or you see it on a supermarket shelf going cheap and you fancy something, give it a go. I don't think you'll walk away thinking this is a really bad film. It isn't a really bad film. It's just also not elevated beyond just above average, I would suggest. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will be back, of course, plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.